She never thought a single mistake could change her entire life. Emily sat on her small couch in her tiny apartment, clutching her old phone in her hands. She was nervous, typing out a message to her best friend. The message was simple, just about how much she hated her boss and how she wished she could disappear into another world where rich men didn't control everything. But in her distracted state, with her eyes heavy from exhaustion and her hands trembling from stress, she pressed send, without checking the number. The moment the message flew across the screen, Emily leaned back and sighed. It wasn't until a second later that her heart dropped into her stomach. She had sent it to the wrong number. And not just any wrong number. The contact above her best friend's was her billionaire boss, Alexander Steele, the man who owned the towering empire she worked under. The man whose cold gaze made people shrink. The man who never smiled, never laughed, and never forgave mistakes. Panic surged through her body. She tried to delete the message, but it was too late. The delivered mark appeared, mocking her. She whispered to herself, "No, no, 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 please, don't let him read it." Seconds turned to minutes, and the silence made her blood roar in her ears. Then, her phone buzzed. One new message. Her hands shook as she unlocked the screen. It wasn't words, it was a single period. Just a dot. No explanation, no emotion. But that was enough to terrify her. She dropped her phone onto the couch and stood, pacing the room. She thought of quitting, thought of running, thought of pretending it had never happened. But before she could decide, headlights flared outside her window. Dark, sleek cars pulled up one by one, lining the street. Black cars, expensive, intimidating, with tinted windows. Her breath hitched. She hurried to the window, pulling back the curtain. Men in black suits stepped out, their movements sharp, rehearsed. They weren't just men, they looked like guards, or security. Her entire body went cold. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from the same number. Open the door. Emily froze. Her heart hammered so loud she thought they could hear it outside. She whispered, "This can't be happening. This can't be real." She considered hiding, but the knock at the door came sharp and commanding. Her feet moved without her permission. She opened the door a crack, her face pale, her lips trembling. A man in a tailored black suit stood there, eyes hard. "Miss Emily Carter?" he asked in a tone that was more of an order than a question. She nodded, her voice lost. "Mr. Steele wants to see you. Now," she stammered. It was a mistake. I didn't mean." He cut her off with a hand raised. "Please step outside." Before she knew it, she was ushered into one of the cars. Her neighborhood faded into the distance as the convoy drove into the city, toward the towering glass skyscraper that bore Steele's name. Her mind raced. Was this the end of her career? Would he humiliate her, fire her, destroy her for a single text? The car stopped in front of the building, its lights glowing against the night sky. She was led through marble halls, past guards and assistants who bowed their heads, until she reached the top floor. The doors opened into a vast office with floor-to-ceiling windows. And there he was. Alexander Steele stood with his back to her, looking out over the glittering city lights. His silhouette was tall, commanding, wrapped in a perfectly fitted suit. He turned slowly, his eyes locking onto hers. Cold, piercing gray eyes that saw straight through her. She swallowed hard. "Mr. Steele, it was a mistake. I swear, the message wasn't meant for you." He didn't respond right away. He simply studied her, as if weighing her soul. Then he spoke, his voice low, deep, controlled. "You think I don't notice the way my employees speak behind my back?" Her chest tightened. She wanted to explain, to apologize, to run. But he stepped closer, closing the space between them. "What surprises me," he said softly, "is that you had the courage to put it into words. Even if by accident." Her brows knitted in confusion. Courage. For the first time, his lips curved, not into a smile, but into something unreadable. "Everyone fears me, Miss Carter. They follow orders. They bow their heads. But you dared to say what others think." Emily blinked. Was this some sort of test? Or trap? She whispered, Are you going to fire me?" His eyes darkened. "If I wanted to fire you, you wouldn't be standing here." He circled her slowly, his presence overwhelming. "I brought you here because I want to know who you are when you're not hiding behind polite smiles. I want the truth." Her throat tightened. I'm just an assistant. I'm no one important." You're wrong, he said, his tone sharp. You're someone who looks at me as a man, not just a billionaire. And that makes you dangerous, and interesting. Her heart pounded, not just from fear anymore, but from something else she couldn't name. The night spiraled into a whirlwind she never expected. He questioned her, not about her mistake, but about her life, her dreams, her struggles, her fears. He asked why she hated powerful men, why she distrusted people like him. And she told him, haltingly, about her past, about growing up poor, watching her father lose everything because of men in suits, about working endless jobs just to survive. Alexander listened, his expression unreadable, yet something softened in his gaze. Hours passed like minutes. When she finally stood, exhausted, ready to leave, he said something that froze her where she stood. You will not quit. You will not run. From now on, you will work closer to me. Directly with me. Her lips parted in shock. But, why? After everything I said about you. He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. Because, Emily, you might be the only one who sees me for what I truly am. And I'd rather have one honest enemy at my side, than 1,000 false friends behind me. The words lingered in the air, heavy and charged. Emily walked out of his office that night shaken, confused, and terrified. Yet deep inside, a spark had been lit, a spark that would burn brighter the longer she stayed in his world. And though she didn't know it yet, that single mistake, the wrong text sent to the wrong man, was the beginning of everything.